It's only the second time since I've been in the Senate that I've observed the Supreme Court in session. It's quite an educational experience. You can't believe the number of people that were outside demonstrating both for and against the health care reform bill. It's a pretty moving experience to see democracy at work. Inside, it's very quiet. Only about 250 people can observe by sitting there in the chamber. And it was very interactive. A lawyer speaking for the government hardly got a chance to give just a few sentences of his preparation until people started peppering with questions. And for the whole next hour that I was there, they had to answer questions, and very tough questions. And I got the feeling that perhaps the one justice that we think is a swing justice may be leaning towards the fact that it's an overreach to say that the Commerce Clause can be broadly interpreted by the Congress to make you buy something. And they kind of pointed out, for the first time in the history of the government, this is the first time the government ever said you had to do something that maybe you don't want to do. Whereas the government, under the Commerce Clause, can regulate, something that you want to do, want to buy, a service you want to give.
Yeah, you were one of a few people who was actually able to watch it live for an hour. Yeah. How can you explain how cameras in the courtroom might enhance that experience for Americans?
Well, first of all, I believe for me, as an observer, I probably would have got more out of it watching it on television than actually being there. But the fact that you're there's only 250 people, maybe 300 people. There were few people standing up that had a chance to hear it, where there'd be millions have the opportunity to see one of the cases that is probably one of the most important cases before the court since the Gore-Bush hearing 10 years ago, going back to civil rights cases, going back to the Brown School case of 1953. This case, now that the court's deciding, is one way or the other, is going to change the direction of this government very dramatically. And so it'd be very important if my bill calling for cameras in the courtroom and applying it to the Supreme Court, if millions of people could have been watching this instead of just the 250 of us that were actually sitting there.
Was it an educational experience?
Of course it's an educational experience, and it'd be an educational experience for all the people that would be watching it on television. I think they would have a better understanding of the judicial branch of government, which is kind of a, as Hamilton said, the least important branch of government. But we know now today it's a very important branch of government.